guys, it's Lotus again from Lotus Holistic Healing. I am here today to talk about gardening in a small space, specifically apartment gardening. We are in an apartment, we're in Maryland, and also happy Beltane to you guys. I'm going to tell you about my Beltane garden and what that is and why I started my herbs on Beltane. And so we're in Arnold, Maryland. It is May 7th, we got a Scorpio full moon tonight. And for some perspective, the weather has mostly been in the 60s, but we have had lows around 40s. I've just started my warm weather crops in my seed trays. I have some inside that I've been doing, and I take these guys in at night. I still have some of my cool weather crops, so I'll show you guys what's going on. We have all the starts in these little pots down here. They're easy to fill in the space. They're on a tray because they go in inside at night. Got all these different guys. We've got I'm most excited for the Aji Paprika. I think I botched that. It's a pepper from Baker Creek Seeds. It's supposedly called the most expensive pepper in the world. They're supposed to be delicious. And we've got tomatillos. We've got cardoons, which is like a non-hybrid artichoke. We've got pink bumblebee tomatoes. A bunch of awesome things down there. And we got these big guys. My beans are in here. I've got some pole beans in there. Let me grab one and show you what my most excited bean that I've got. Just said excited bean. So this is my 1500-year-old cave bean. I got that from Baker Creek Seeds as well. It's a pole bean, and it was found in a cave that was closed in for, they believe, around 1500 years. They bred the beans down there and eventually got these guys. So that is right in here, along with my beans. So I like to implement not quite permaculture because we don't have enough space for that, but I don't just do monocrops. I don't just have one crop and everything. I like to put compatible crops together, planting. All right, we got the camera person laughing at us. My sis over there, Jessica. So in here we've got that 1500-year-old cave bean. We have our golden butter wax bean, and I put with it marjoram because marjoram will take that nitrogen that the beans fix into the soil and do really well with it. And I also put some calendula in there, which is great in pretty much any soil. It helps keep away pests. It's beautiful. It's wonderful for skin, and I'll use it in some beauty products. Ooh, I think I bumped into our next friend that we'll talk about, stinging nettle. So here's my stinging nettle. I've got this pot of it and this pot down here. So you might ask why I've got this weed that most people consider kind of pesky growing in my garden. The stinging nettle is great for respiratory health. I drink it daily. It's a great antihistamine. It's similar in use to Benadryl, so for preventing allergies. And just a little disclaimer, when I give information on herbs, it's for informational purposes only. I recommend that you work with a professional. And then let's see, we've got our marshmallow and our bee balm in here. So this guy, we're keeping extra wet, lots of watering. The marshmallow and the bee balm, bergamot, that's another name for a bergamot. They like to have, they're one of the few plants that are cool with wet feet. They like moist soil. These pots right here that are empty, one is going to be my fertile loam bed, so it's very fertile soil. I've got fish emulsion in there, I've got worm castings, a couple different types of soil, and I've got perlite to help with that drainage. So the fertile loam will be nice, fertile soil, but with good drainage. And this one over here, we're going to mix some sand into. So we got some sand. I got it from, it's bonus points if you put it somewhere that you grew up or a special place, which is going to get into what I forgot to talk about, Beltane, since we're talking about a little bit of that magic stuff. Sand from where you grew up, help those plants grow up. So I started the herbs right on for Beltane. Beltane is usually celebrated on May 1st or April 31st. But the cross quarter for Beltane this year was this past Monday, which I believe was May 4th. And the cross quarters go by the sun and where the in between the equinoxes. So that's more towards the sun. The standard day, May 1st, is more towards like tradition. I celebrate it the whole week. Sometimes I'll celebrate things as well on the closest full moon to them. So on May 1st, I started celebrating, and tonight, still celebrating, still planting. I'll get everything finished planted today. So that's why we did our Beltane garden. And then so yeah, that sandy soil is plants that like that. They're not as high maintenance. So we got like lavender, we've got chamomile, I've got my butterfly pea going in there, so that's exciting. Let's see. So yeah, so big tips with the gardening in a small space, using lots of planters. I got this guy, this 4x4 planter online. It came in pieces and we just put it together. So let's show you guys what we've got growing in here. Right here we have the, what's that word? Kohlrabi. I couldn't get the word for a second. That's my kohlrabi growing in there. I planted that probably a month ago. That's a really nice vegetable that gets kind of like a tight bulb near the bottom, and it's similar to kind of a cabbage is what I've been told. I haven't tried it yet, but it's supposed to have a really good texture and flavor. And I planted some auroch in there. You can't really see him. He's blending in with the mulching that I've got in. Oh, so why do I have mulching in here? It's definitely not for looks. It's ugly. But we've got hardwood mulch that's untreated in here. That's going to help encourage mycorrhizal fungi under the plants. So mycorrhizal fungi, that's the part of the fungi. So like when you see a mushroom, that's just the fruiting body on top. The fungi goes into the ground, and mycorrhizal fungi is specifically the mycelium, underground part of the mushroom, that goes near the roots. So the roots can, when they have that fungi, they can help communicate with each other, and they tend to do better. It helps them with pest control, absorbing more nutrients and that type of thing. So that's cool. And then we've got radishes, multiple radishes through here. Actually, let's take some out while you guys are here. I took some out the other day and they weren't as big because my garden right here has so much nitrogen. It's very nitrogen rich because of the compost, the worm, or the fish emulsion. And these are root guys. Nitrogen's more for those greens and those tops. So my root guys might not be as big, but of course our leafy thing's loving it. So let's see. Ooh, oh fuck. Well, kind of tiny. We can eat the greens too. We're gonna harvest her. This is one of my beets. I got a couple different types. Some are supposed to be long. I think this was supposed to be the long type, but little tiny. But we still got some red. We're still gonna eat it. And of course we'll have those greens. Set her right there. And something else that I did, which I don't know where they all went, but oh, here we go. Here's this guy. I released a whole bunch of ladybugs in here, which is a great natural pest control. There were some aphids on my plants, and I haven't seen any aphids since I released the huge amount of ladybugs in here. So there's our second radish. Another tiny one, but we got a bulb. And right around here, I've got some beans growing. They germinated really late, but I do have some beans growing in here. These are snow pea beans. And since we are having unusually cold weather, hey, they might go. I just planted some wasabi radish in here as well, which we won't see yet. Usually you would not plant wasabi radish that late here because it's a cool weather crop. And we got a couple other guys. I planted a whole bunch of lettuce in here too. I'm gonna harvest a bunch of microgreens. There's tons of microgreens growing in here. You can't see them that much yet because we're moving. That's also why we've got that huge thing of starts over there in the plastic mini containers. We're moving, so I didn't want to put anything directly in here. This is all gonna have to come down. But all the microgreens that I filled in here and the radishes should be ready right about the time that we move. Specifically the wasabi radishes. And let's see, what am I missing? Oh, we got a whole bed of lettuce down here. which I've been harvesting a little bit out of. Our lettuce is down here. This is all wildflowers and some Swiss chard. The wildflowers, they're going to help attract pollinators and keep away unwanted pests. We got some catnip or catmint right here. That's a good herb for calming, nighttime, dream time. In magic, it's good for love work. And we've got a bunch of marigolds right here and calendula. So marigold and calendula. And these radishes down here are ready too. Let's see. Oh, and guys, I really want to know what you're growing. So if you could put in the comments what you've got growing on at your house, your apartment, or your homestead. Oh, that's so cute. They're so tiny. I probably could have let these guys keep going a little bit, but oh well. And you guys will see my garden throughout the summer. I'm not at all an expert. I'm still learning so much. I have been gardening my whole life, but I still have so much to learn. And you'll see my little experiments throughout the summer. Something else that we're gonna do, that's another experiment, getting a lot of food out of a small area, is I've got a wine cap mushroom right here. I know it doesn't, if you know mushrooms, it's old and doesn't quite look like one, but I know from identifying it and looking at the spores, it's got those purple spores. And I know wine caps grow in that area. We're gonna take our wine cap mushroom and we're gonna break it up so we get those spores in our mulch. Gonna mix that around here. And that way, we can encourage that fungi, that mycelium in there, in our soil, as well as likely have some food. And I'm gonna put it in my big mulch bag too, which will probably do better. It's gonna be closed in with water in there. So we'll see how that experiment goes. All right. Then, I know we're all over the place here, but we've got rue and sage growing on this little pot right here. We've got salvia and an oak tree, which I need to pull and replant, growing in that little pot. Got some little containers of, what are they called? Wildflowers. So, let's see. A last tip that I'm going to leave you with is growing up. I know I'm not set up for that quite yet because everything's still young, but my beans, I'm going to have some trellises that go pretty high up here for them to climb. And I planted a whole bunch of squash as well, some watermelon, and some small varieties of cantaloupe and what's called a Mother Mary's pie melon, which are cool. The Tommy apple cantaloupe and the Mother Mary's pie melon, also from rareseeds.com, Baker Creek. I'm not sponsored with them, I just love their seeds and bought a whole bunch. But yeah, so they're gonna all be on trellises going up in the back of our big planter. And again, we're doing that companion planting. We're gonna plant different things around. We've got herbs that are gonna be planted in here as well. And just keep that variety, help that soil stay strong. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment what you're growing and like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks so much. See you guys. Lotus out. Peace.